Okay, well, Ken Sprayson, you're looking on here and you've seen it all over a long period. How long have you been coming to the island?
Oh dear, must I?
Yeah.
1953.
Okay, so that's getting on for the best part of 50 years, and will you try and make it to 50 next year, will you?
Oh yes, definitely. I've already booked.
Okay, now it's changed an awful lot in that time, hasn't it? What do you remember of those days? Because they were the World Championship days with Nortons.
Well, the paddock area and everything else was more free and easy. There wasn't the passes that you have to have now. Understandable, you know, there's more trade support like V&M, Honda, etc. and etc. In my day it was true trade, a free service. Well, of course that's all gone now. It's very, very commercial these days.
At one time the riders actually got free fuel, free plugs, free chains.
Everything free.
Yeah, and that was based on the products being advertised as TT winners.
Yes.
And your part in the service was often away from the paddock though, wasn't it?
That's right. It was still part of the trade service, and in actual fact on the last of the free service.
The old trade barons, as it was known.
That's right.
Tell us a few of the names from then, because there would be Dickie Davies,
Dickie Davies, Dunlop, Lou Ellis, Shell, Donald Ferguson from Ferodo, Vic Doyle, Reynolds Chain.
They were hard men, weren't they?
Oh yes.
Many a night spent along.
A wonderful crowd, really. You know, all.
Many a long night at the Castle Mona, I think, wasn't there?
Yeah, Dickie on the Giovanna.
Yeah, so those days are gone, but this is a much more colourful scene now, isn't it?
Yes. I mean, it was just black leathers then. You didn't have the colours that you've got now.
And they didn't ride 6 or 7 bikes in the one meeting. It was just 350 and 500, wasn't it?
No, there's a lot of talk now about. I mean, Joey winning 26. It wouldn't have been possible in Jeff Duke's day. He was only riding junior and senior.
Yeah.
And in fact, if you look at the record, I think he only rode, 6 TTs? It was in single numbers anyway.
Yeah.
So really, I think when you're comparing riders, you've got to look at what was available in their days. You can't compare. Everyone for his own period.
Okay, but your element of it was spending many hours at a welding torch in a not very pleasant garage with no heating or anything like that. But you saved many a rider from having to go home without a ride because of your skills there.
Well, this is why we're still here, Jeff. I mean, you know, I often think, well, is it necessary these days? But you get these people coming over on a shoestring. If they can't get the bikes repaired, they can't ride. And those are the people you're here to help. Obviously, in the very early days, you were doing the trade and everything. I mean, going back to Gilera, MV, they all came along. And it was almost a day and night job. Queues all down the road.
But you didn't become a millionaire doing it.
Free service.
Yeah. But you must have put a lot of your own time into for virtually no reward financially.
You say no reward. I mean, no financial reward, but
satisfaction.
Definitely satisfaction, without a doubt.
Okay,
I mean, it's a privilege to have been involved. That's the way I look at it.
But you would have riders who would appreciate you, and others who thought that they could talk to you how they wanted. It's a variation which persists till today now, isn't it?
I don't think I ever recall a harsh word with anyone.
Okay, but you got involved in other projects as well away from the Isle of Man, didn't you?
Yes.
Well, tell me about those special bikes you used to build, and cars as well, wasn't it?
I did the Project Thrust, the land speed record car. Not the current one, the previous one. I did that chassis. That was a bit of a major operation. Obviously involved in specials like the Jeff Duke NSU, Norton, the Velocets, Mike Hailwood's Honda. Quite a few.
You did the frame for Hailwood's Honda to try to stop it doing what the Japanese couldn't sort out.
But unfortunately, of course, they had packed up racing by the time it was finished.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm positive that obviously Honda being Honda, they had to give permission to have something done to Mike Hailwood. And of a mind that they only gave permission in the knowledge that they weren't going to race anyway.
But his knowledge that you were building a frame did cure the problem he was trying to sort out.
He rode it in the early non-championship meetings in Italy and proved it successful. I mean, he beat Ago in the one race. I think he missed a gear or something that slid up in the second one, but still came second. I think he won a further race in those early Italian meetings, and he rode it at Snetterton as well.
Mike was a great person and a great friend of the TD, wasn't he?
Very much so, yes.
Did you,
Character.
who was, I mean, I know you've probably been asked this loads of time before, but was he among your favourite people to deal with?
I think when you're talking about who was the greatest rider, as I say, everyone for their own time, but Mike had the ability to get on anything, whether it was a two-stroke, a four-stroke, left-hand gear change, right-hand gear change, 50 to 750, it made no difference to him.
Okay, well,
and, in that respect, he must have been the greatest.
Your service to the Isle of Man was recognised to a small degree with a little presentation you had.
Right.
I think we might do something better for you if you come back next year, and we'll be delighted to see you as always. This TD wouldn't be the same without you.
I'd be very privileged. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Yes. Thank you.
Right foot pad linkage, brake lever, bodywork does not look beautiful.
take a tear off. Clean up your shield.
Paul Moulton say there that all was well, he'd go through, so all must be well because he has gone straight through on the 400cc. And Dave Moore has Jim Mooney with him.
Sidecars go out in 10 minutes, Jim. 3:55.
Okay, well the sidecars are beginning to think about action now, and that's in pit lane right now. And for those who may not have been listening earlier, there will be, after this practice, when the roads open, a one-way traffic system from the bungalow to Governor's Bridge for an hour. And that's one way, obviously, in the direction of travel of the TT course towards Douglas. So the roads will be open at a maximum of 4:25, so the ordinary working traffic will be able to get home as usual, but those who are leaving early will not be able to travel the mountain road in the reverse direction to the TT course. There's the tiger going through, or leopard, or zebra, whatever you care to call him. Let's hope he doesn't pack up at the wildlife park, or he may get taken in for questioning. There's Jim Mooney away on the Formula One machine, so a last gallop on that. That's probably the last serious lap he'll get in before Saturday's race, but of course there is a practice tomorrow morning and there's one tomorrow evening. It's a question of what the weather will do and how much you're prepared to chance taking your machine which you're riding the day after out. It doesn't seem to bother the top boys. There's Duffus, straight through on the 600, and you'd swear the front wheel lifts as he drops down the little dip just by the exit to pit lane. But he goes also straight through. And there's tremendous power in these machines, enough to lift the front wheel up in third and sometimes in fourth gear as well. And of course, although the bikes now don't jump about like they did on the old Macadam surface, the Blownox tends to make them a bit more stable. It's still intrinsically bumpy when you use a road circuit. And there's a bike shifting on for a newcomer, number 63, Darren Turner from Chester Street. Where's that, Derbyshire, I think? Certainly tanking on. By God, we had a good turn of speed there. And number 80, and that's in the 600 category, though in fact I think that sounded more like a
10 seconds right.
A 250. But let's go now over again to Ramsey Hairpin and the motorcycle news commentator there, George McCann. Instead of wobbling out of there in front of others going through, it should set off down here. Neil won't have it because he said, oh, they'd be crossing off.
Just back to Charlie. Okay.
Well, we hand straight over to Charlie Williams at Motorcycle News Glen Helen.